Hello, my name is Rob, and today I will be looking at the Integrity Commissioner's report, which talked about how the government of Ontario used code words to hide data regarding the Greenbelt and use personal emails, and records were deleted, etc. So I will switch to the report. And then I'm just finding the page. So this is the report from Vision to Impact. And it's by the Information and Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, Patricia Kozim. So I'm just going to the right page. So this is it starts on page 70 of the report, which came out earlier this week in June of 2025. So that's the title page: Ontario's Greenbelt, Access to Information and Government Transparency. There's some background about the Greenbelt that was established in 2005, and there's some background about what happened regarding the Greenbelt controversy. In 2022, the Ontario government announced the removal of almost 2,000 acres of land from the Greenbelt to support housing development, and there was investigations by the Auditor General of Ontario and the Ontario Integrity Commissioner. There's also an ongoing RCMP investigation, and this is a separate report from the Information and Privacy Commissioner. And then there was... Oh, yeah, I said that. And then between 2022 and 2023, this is from the page 70 of the report, the IPC received 30 Freedom of Information appeals filed by researchers, members of the media, and other concerned individuals seeking access to records documenting government decisions and actions related to the Greenbelt. And it's important to have this information to understand what the government is proposing, why the government made certain decisions, how it made decisions. There's all sorts of reasons to ask for information. There's a section called deletion of emails, and governments have been defeated or got into a lot of controversy because of emails or the use of personal computers. The previous government of Ontario was criticized related to the gas plant, and people have gone to jail. There was a large outcry over Hillary Clinton in the U.S. So this is a serious issue. The deletion of emails. There have been cases where people have gone to jail over this. In the case of the previous government, it was or they face criminal convictions. Yeah, it was staffers that were found to have there was controversy around the gas plant. This is a similar situation in regards to the Greenbelt in some ways. I should note that there was an OCMP investigation ongoing. So in regards to emails, the Auditor General of Ontario observed that this is in the report. Emails related to changes to the Greenbelt were regularly being deleted by political staff, contrary to the Archives and Record Keeping Act. And then there was concern that records were being deleted. And then there was a preemptive, an interim order related to that to protect some records. And then the interim order was for any records that had been deleted or destroyed. The IPC ordered the minister to take steps to recover them. Then there was the use of code words. This is significant because it hampers ability for researchers to find information about the Greenbelt. There was inconsistent code words such as special project, GB, or SP. So standard search methodology was not going to work. And then G stall made it virtually impossible to find records given the asterisk, and that's a search methodology. Like the asterisk will come up with everything that includes the letter G. So if I go to, let's say, G, I type it in, there's more than 1,000 cases just with the letter G if I do Control F. So that's impractical to go through every letter. Whereas I type in green, there's a dramatically there's 53 matches compared to over 1,000. So that gives you like a little bit of an example of what the asterisk does. So some responsive records might have been missed. So records that are related to what's being searched. And there was 9,000 records that were looked at, and 6 were ultimately found to be relevant. So only 6. So let me see. If I do a calculator, so 6 divided by 1,000. Oh yeah, 6 divided by 9,000. So that's like 0.06 or 0.07% of records. That's a tiny fraction of records. Yeah, there was use of personal email and devices. So personal email accounts and devices were used. And later on in this report, it talks about how people will let go, left the organization, left the government. So that's a problem. Someone leaves, the organizations don't have control over that document. So there's a reason why people shouldn't be using personal email outside of the fact of lost communication and privacy concerns. Let's see. Yeah, so there's eliminating access to key decision-making records. They were vulnerable to loss in personal devices, and the report said that this happened. And it's contrary to the Ontario Public Service guidelines on information security and acceptable use of I and IT. I don't know what that stands for. And then there was a request for the Premier to release records. And then since the Auditor General's report, this is from the report, Cabinet Office now requires all Premier Office and Ministerial staff to annually attest to using only government systems and accounts for government business and ensure any government records inadvertently received on personal email account transferred to the government system of proper record retention. Or for proper record retention. And then there was a heading, control over personal emails of personal staff. So institutions, like ministries, made the claim that they couldn't control what happens in personal email accounts from former staff. And then the Ministry of Municipal Affairs refused to assert control over such records on the grounds that it had limited legal recourse to do so once the employment relationship had terminated. So that's why people shouldn't use personal email. There was lack of proper documentation. This is concerning. There was a near total absence of decision-making documentation, and this is a high-profile case, such as the Greenbelt, there should have been documentation on how decisions were made. The Integrity Commissioner found that the Integrity Commissioner found that the directives likely came from the Ministry's Chief of Staff, not the Premier's office. And then let's see. And then those lessons learned. There's a section on that, page 72. The public has the fundamental right to know how and why decisions are made, especially those that impact protected lands like the Greenbelt, when records are obfuscated and made difficult, if not impossible, to find through evasive code rules. Transparency is compromised and oversight becomes illusionary. I agree with that. Institutions cannot avoid FIPA obligations, that's the legislation, based on where a record is stored. Lack of robust record management systems reflect a poor level of commitment. There's an urgent need for stronger record management practices, according to this report. And then the concerns, this is oftentimes when something like this happens, there's been a previous report. And the previous report is ignored. There was concerns, there was deleting accountability. 2013 report. And it exposed, from this report, systematic failures in record keeping and highlighting the risk of improper deletion and lack of retention of key document records. Yeah, oftentimes reports sit on the shelf for years, decades even. So we often know what the issues are, but things keep happening. So I think that we should read these older reports from 2013, 2000. We should maintain the knowledge. And these organizations are important to protect. They highlight what the government is doing well or not doing too well. They keep the government accountable, like the Auditor General, the Integrity Commissioner, the Privacy Commissioner, Environmental Commissioner, who's now under the Auditor General of Ontario. So those recommendations to government, and some of the recommendations are to review and modernize record keeping and retention process, ensure that the retention policies and practices are regularly reviewed and updated, prohibit the use of personal tools for official business, train early and often, including immediately following changes in staffing, monitor for compliance, codified duty to document, and then there's a postscript. This is saying that there have been efforts to improve things. In response to this report and the Auditor General reports, They've made efforts to strengthen their record-keeping practices. This includes complying and safeguarding all records previously submitted to the Auditor General and Integrity Commissioner during their respective investigations. And then they outlined additional measures to improve transparency and information management, including a joint memo with the Premier's Chief of Staff reminding all Ontario Public Service and political staff to preserve and manage all records in accordance with record-keeping requirements, and increased frequency of management training for all political staff. And then there was an annual record-keeping attestation for staff in the Premier's and Minister's office. And I don't think I highlighted anything else in this article, but I will switch to some news. So this is from Oriole. This is from August 24th, 2023. And it's saying the Office of Ontario's Information and Privacy Commissioner is looking into the province's Greenbelt changes. And this is from this is an article. Ontario's Information Watchdog is considering potential next steps on alleged deleted Greenbelt emails. And it's saying that staff have used personal emails to talk to lobbyists and forwarded messages between personal and government accounts. So that was an article from 2023. This is an article from the Seal. It's called Ford Government Used Code Words to Make It Unduly Difficult to Search Greenbelt Records. Report. And this is talking about the and this is from CBC by Alison Jones on June 12th. And they were using code words. So that was the key item that they brought up. And then they used G's asterisk asterisk and then references to G asterisk asterisk were impossible to find because of the nature of asterisks. NDP leader Merritt Stiles said enough is enough because the last time political staff were found to be deleting government records, one went to jail. And then it's saying that a top aide to former Premier Dr. McGuinty was convicted of illegal use of computer relating to his deletion of potentially embarrassing documents about the Liberal government's costly decision to cancel 2 gas plants before the 2011 provincial election. Then there's another article. Commissioner finds officials broke legal record-keeping obligations in planning Greenbelt removals by Charlie Pinkerton in the Trillium. I think it says many of the same things. Oh yeah, and then there's mention of the LCMP. There's no plan to reach out to the LCMP, but there will be cooperating, or there's no ruling out of cooperating with the police on this. And the work started over a year ago. Some of the cases remain active. So that's interesting. Okay. So this article is Doug Ford says people don't give two hoots about the Greenbelt fiasco. I think there's not much in this article, but it's by Robert Benzie. And then this is the quote: "Can I tell you something? People don't give two hoots about this Greenbelt. That's done, that's gone, and we're moving forward." And those talking about the 2023 reports. People have been... I'll switch to... let's see, where am I going? Yeah, people have been talking about the Greenbelt, and they were angry when the Greenbelt was threatened in this way, and they took action and caused the government to reverse their decision on the Greenbelt. With this, trust is broken. And how can people of Ontario trust the government ever again? Especially this political party that's in power now. They've already broken a promise, and now they're dismissing what the government has done. And there's still an LCMP investigation, and there's still appeals related to the Greenbelt. This is very concerning. And people care about environmental protection. I've seen the reaction to Bill 5. I know people have gone out on the streets. They're still going out on the streets. Using their democratic rights to protest legislation that is harmful to the environment, that and does violate Indigenous rights as well. Anyways, I hope that you have a good day, and I will talk about some other legislation coming up. And let's see, I'm just looking for the transition slide.